Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a 2019 launch made in only 100 pieces. This is the Girard-Perregaux Laureato Absolute Rock. It is an absolute chronograph in rock blue, and it's created from a material called carbon glass, which incorporates fiberglass, carbon fiber, and resin to hold it all together. Injected at a high temperature and cured, it is ultralight, scratch-resistant, and creates a wonderful marbling effect. So taking a quick look at this watch, it's actually bigger than it looks and bigger than it wears. It's 44 millimeters in diameter by 15.4 millimeters thick, and lug-to-lug, it's 53.2 millimeters, but it doesn't feel that big. If I just had a guess looking at this, I would guess and did guess that it was 42 millimeters in diameter, but it's technically a 44. I guess whereas AP's 42 wears like a 44, Girard-Perregaux's 44 wears like a 42. Ironic, since of course the Laureato Absolute is to the Laureato what an offshore is to a Royal Oak, but it is very light, and you can see the downward angle of the lugs really mitigates against fit problems on a smaller wrist. I think you could easily wear this on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference. Once again, for those new to the channel, my wrist is 16 centimeters circumference, and I'm really digging this. Super comfortable. It's equipped with a strap to match. It's subtle. You can see that it has a textile pattern molded into it. It's all rubber. It's also got a little bit of a squared off shoulder to match the shape of the lugs. And then, again, subtle. We have a blue contrasting stitch, contrasting with the black. There's a sort of matte finish along the edge, but you can see it does thin out as it moves away from the lugs. There's a little chevron pattern on the bottom to vent the wrist a bit, improve the flexibility by removing material, and also help to hold the watch in place. Now here we have a clasp, which is made of blackened titanium. It's a twin trigger clasp, so you have to press both of them to pop it open, appropriate to a sports watch. It can't fly open on its own. It's not friction fit. And you can see there's attention to detail here, as we have both a matted satin finish to the metal and then a polished subtle contrast. Take a quick look inside. You can see, I'll pull the strap out so this is easier for you to see, but we have a little micro adjustment built in. There is a trigger you press that allows you to move the anchoring point, the anchoring prongs, in and out. And by moving them, you can fine-tune the fit. That's a micro adjustment system inside this deployant clasp. You also have the ability to tuck the strap in, tuck it under, crimp it in place. Now all the extra length hides under the clasp body and the strap, so there's no need for minder loops here. So between the twin trigger release, the subtlety of the finish, the micro adjust, and the crimping system that hides the excess length, this qualifies as a big win by deployant clasp standards. You can see that the strap is integrated into the case. This is the era of the integrated sports watch, and that integration is not limited to bracelets. It includes strap designs as well. The case is a fascinating thing, and no two will be exactly alike. You can see how the marbling varies across all of these surfaces, and all of them are made of that carbon glass material. Some aspects of it even have a little bit of chatoyancy, like a French polished desk of wood, and it has that almost depth-like effect that you get from a cat's eye or a marble. Now, because it is a combination of fiberglass and carbon fiber and resin, it's very impact resistant. So unlike ceramic cases, which are susceptible to fracture, this is actually quite resilient and very, very light in the hand. We do have a screw-down crown and 50-meter water resistance, so while it's not as water resistant as the metal-cased Laureato Absolutes, 50 meters with a screw-down crown is a swimmable sports watch. You can see that the chronograph pushers, as well as the crown, have contrasting polished and satinated facets. The Laureato was introduced in 1975. Remember, that's prior to the Nautilus, that's prior to the Vacheron 222, that's prior to the Jumbo Ingenieur from IWC. So the Laureato was one of the original watches in this genre. And so that Laureato faceted bezel has become one of the design icons of Girard-Perregaux, which is why you'll see that design here, but you'll also see it echoed in the shape of the crown itself. Now, the chronograph here is a modular chronograph with what I believe to be a Dubois-Dupraz chronograph module on the Girard-Perregaux 3300 base. So that means you have a vertical clutch, so there's no jump or stagger. Vertical clutch engagement is seamless, unlike toothed wheels on a lateral clutch. So when this starts, there's no jump or gallop. Now, taking a quick look, you can see the dial has good depth to it. There's a metallic Rahal outboard against which you can read minutes, seconds, and fractions of seconds for the chronograph. Then we have a matte black dial center that features cutouts under which you can see polished black bases. And so we have a sandwich-like dial construction a la Panerai. You can also see that the sub-registers are somewhat sunken below the dial and that each of those registers features a concentric pattern. If you take a look at the hands, they're quite nuanced with a combination of mirror-polished outer facets and then tops that are satinated for better contrast. There is a date. It sits between 4 and 5 o'clock. A lot of people like that, find it preferable to replacing a index. Now you can see that we have a hacking or stop seconds function, and then we also have a quick set system so you can very rapidly and easily cycle the date if you wish to do so. Now we also have some other Girard-Perregaux design elements on the dial. You have that Laureato bezel on the bezel and the crown shape, but we have the image of the golden bridge. If you look carefully, the golden bridge also informs the shape of the seconds hand counterweight and the hour and the minute hands. Not much to see on the reverse side, but inside we have the thin, fine, and well-made Girard-Perregaux 3300 with a Dubois-Dupraz vertical clutch chronograph module. The GP base is quite beautiful, and it's comparable to something like a JLC 889 or Zenith Elite or a Frédéric Piguet 1150. It is that echelon of high horology thin automatic. It's a unidirectional winder with a 46-hour power reserve. We have stop seconds, quick set, a 4 Hz beat rate, 63 joules because this is a modular complication with the module on the base, so it has a high joule count. And again, it has that vertical clutch to make it a better and more precise chronograph. It's also fairly well loomed. We'll do a quick loom shot here, get a sense of this watch in the dark. Beautifully blue, just as it is in the light. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this 100-piece limited edition.